Allow me to read on the protocol that was rightly and elaborately laid out by our town clerk and say salam first of all to all of us. Today, like the decimation as per the local government cap 138, we used 243, 242. They are now talking for 138. I think it's actually 291, close to somewhere, hand over and take over of local governments. And this is the time we're handing over. I don't know why by design that in politics, the ministers hand over to PSCs, then local governments hand over to the accounting officers. They deny us opportunity to share with our incoming, but of course I can mention our incoming mayor will be swearing in on 20th, and again we shall all be here to usher her in, and again it's through the same guidance. But for me today, it's a day to thank you, all of you, the city residents, the business community, and the members of the fourth estate. There are 2-3 people I specifically keep remembering in my mind. I put him here as Abdal Faith. By the time he was promoting my candidate, he was working with Faith and Radio. And then sold. I saw my friend here sold FM. That is the man who did a lot. I remember we were doing our marketing on TV, on the public street, and of course the resources and all of you. But all that, I just imagine that we are doing it because we have love for Bali and not necessity to change. And like they say, we can never accomplish everything. You work, you do some, and other people come and take over. So today we are doing ceremonial handover to the town clerk. But it shall be another peaceful handover today, incoming peaceful, like we are going to witness on TV. Peaceful handover tomorrow to the new president. So we have all this happening peacefully, no fighting and all that. I want to start with thanking my senior brother, Opua. I remember when I was starting to have admiration for politics, I talked with him and he thought it was a joke. We were sitting somewhere just joking and I told him, you see, what are they saying? He said, no. It was the world actually. So before he thought, normally I don't talk much. So he thought I was joking. I only met him again when we are now congratulating and say, oh, Kube, you were serious. I said, yeah, I know I'm serious, but I don't tie my face when I'm serious. I talk casually, but I mean what I say. But all in all, I want to thank the bad people. You saw something in me, you gave me the opportunity for the 5 years. And of course, without lamenting, there's a way God made it. People come for 5 years and they serve their 5 years. For us, when we are coming here, because we are coming for the first time, COVID set in. And we started hiding here and there to run out from COVID. You don't move out when the president gives a word, an executive order also. So we had a lot of time wasting for a period of 2 or so years. And I think that was the challenge on us. But my work of things is not to keep looking at the failing things or the challenges, but focus on them as opportunities to move on. And not thank the team here that we agreed and we moved on. The town clerk highlighted on some of the things that we have done during this time. It's not that Cassimu has done, but all of us during this time, we've done something for this city. There is time when we move in this city and see a lot of anthills. Some of us thought that maybe those are whatever, but later on we came plan that was solid waste. We commonly call cabbage. That every other part you will go. I normally like that one in industrial areas you go to Abattoir. We use around, I don't know how many snowpacks, because we're using snowpacks for road services there. But we fed tons and tons. But what were I feeling? But it wasn't cabbage, it was manure, because you know something that has taken 20 or 30 years has turned into manure, and then we are now going to the landfill, which landfill has also spread its dirt up to the road, and then I used to have a lot of sharing with the road here. I said, the road. And the road affects so much, because these are a few people really move so much to ensure that we clean up the city. I'm happy when I went through the state, it smells better. We have set the pace. And it's now my guest who's coming in next. Just pick it on from there. Our city should not strike back. When we found soil waste and cabbage on the street, or as we go to Kamonkoli, we were told that behind there is no land. And I remember we went there with the road, I don't know where, with a couple of people. When we reached there, behind was a lot of free land, and there was no cabbage there. When we went to spread that cabbage behind there, police from Namatali came and arrested us for trespass. Actually, they arrested our people. We are trespassing somebody's land. So that gave me a feel that that land possibly was ceasing to be ours. But I'm happy it's now ours, and cabbage has now become history. We are fighting very hard, and that is the task I'm leaving behind now with the incoming team and the other members here to acquire a new piece of land so that we can now move that cabbage from where it is going to another place. And for one simple reason, at the time when we got that landfill, of course some of us maybe were not even born, the town was just here, and that was the village. For now, that is a residential area. You cannot make residents neighbor what? So always, and all the flights that are coming from there. So that has been a plan, and I'm hoping that the team should execute up to its conclusions, so that we have a new landfill, and that place can be used profitably. Of course, I know we have our partners who are applied for it to have their good primary school and a health center, but that will be a matter of follow-up. I'm happy that most of the things we have shared, our term of office is not coming to an end at the same time with the town plan, and we have shared all this. So that means that the incoming team should not fail to proceed and implement some of these things to their conclusion. Just like we've been struggling with office space here, and in this current budget we put I think around 260 million to start on this structure behind. That structure, its plan was approved in 1972. It has some two-story structures on top, but we thought we can improve it to around 3 or 4, so that we have a meaningful city council. You don't have to move the office of the city from the center to the village. That means when the Mayor Northern is coming for service, he has to cross one office here to go to. So we say, we can let if Maruk moves out because they are putting up their own office, we can have the division possibly go there and other offices, but maintain this as ground zero. I think that is very easy to do. We've agreed with the government. Some money has been put aside. I'm happy Engineer Johnson has been running with the improvement on architectural drawings because the structures were checked structurally. Integrity is okay. It can accommodate what we're talking about. And it's just an issue of creating some adjustments, because remember it has a lift, but you know the current circumstances may require a lift and something else. So that has been ongoing. I would request the incoming team that they follow up. And the incoming team is lucky. For me, when I came in, I did not see anything called handover. I didn't know where to begin from. There's my friend is not here, who was the clerk to council then, Donny Kutos. He's the only one that will help. That you will come and we share, you see this, you know here, you know now, council, these are the minutes, you know what. And indeed, that is what helped me to move. And that is not good. Technically and professionally, you must hand over and allow someone to start from somewhere. Because you can't begin from nowhere. And this is what people need to know. That we are struggling to put things right. And I remember my friend say, oh, Tuesday, you can't come and be in the field. How do you leave the house on fire and go to the field to do what? First put off the fire. Like a new coming team should just relax and arrange a bed where to rest because we've done everything right. We've taken a beating from these colleagues as we stop them from taking something. It's not easy. So now what I am fight. It is just maintenance and ensuring that there is teamwork. And you can't tell that when we are traveling with my resident commissioner, he doesn't use his own car. Oh, I don't use mine. We use one. It's just a matter of arguing which one are we using. And then we move. Now what do you lose? So when you have a team of leaders in the city who are fighting daily on stupid things, maybe political aligning, whatever, you can't make a step move. But that is what we first did away with, that let's have a team that has a common objective. We can have all these other small things, that is okay. But what is the overall objective? Is to make Imbaras to grow. So you take the beatings here and they are small, but the main objective and focus cannot be lost. And I'm happy that this has been done. I've never heard of the strike in this city. I've never heard of anything. And we have been moving on. That has enabled us to achieve a lot of things. People thought we were doing a lot of firing. We've been here doing small interdictions here for corrective purposes. But we have improved our revenue collection. By the end of this financial year, by God's grace, we must be at 5 billion. I think that is our target. Now, if we are at 5 billion, it is not even 50% performance of this city. So that means that if we continue making those where the leakages are, we tighten a bit, then we can now ensure service delivery to our people. Some of these issues may not be prone to possible out of new teams there, but inside here, we've been doing a lot of things, corrective things. We didn't want to start with a lot of contamination, so that contaminated all the entire stuff. But we thought we can do corrective issues, let people get to understand. So if people persist, that's why they say that when sickness persists, go and see the doctor. But I'm happy that teams have been aligned and have been moving, and thank you. I believe that has been done well. When we got in here, Engineer Johnson and my Lord and so people who are running with me, they will tell you that in this very hall, we had a team of World Bank grumbling, wanting to run away. Because of the issue of complaints, grumbling, issues of tendering, and all that. I don't remember which office I entered or any of the heads of the department to influence any tender. Although this was appealed there sometimes, but I can assure you that is not there. Because when you do that, you cannot punish. By the time you want to extend a punishing hand, you are also in the same, and you get banned in the process. So sometimes some of the things we do, if you want to achieve much, you don't do with a lot of noise, but you do with a lot of firmness. And I'm happy that we are now talking about, we're talking about issues of fees from, for example, building plans. I think we're getting a year. One good year we got, I think, 30 million sometime back. And with my revenue guy here, Moses, he will now tell you that we are now collecting over 300 million from that. On the street parking, the best year, we collected 12 million. That was a very good year, and we are all happy here in this hall. As we talk now, our collection is about 300 million. No noise, no bragging, no doing what. But we are on actually for the figures to talk for themselves. When you talk about issues of property rates, we are collecting not, I think the best year when we go through records was 150 million. We go through records properly. And the year we had in, that is the year we collected over 700 million. So these things are possible. It is just an issue of attitude and then support from most of us, including the community. And one thing we did that has yielded, when we sat the same place here with my former town clerk, we said we cannot run the entire town. Why don't we call on the business community to come and join us? How do they join? Form an association. So it's most of the communication we want to do, we go through the session, say that they are able to pass the information to the other members whom we cannot reach. And that is how we've been doing some of these things. Small but achieving results, and tangible results that we can see. And like the TCC, we found here debts of over 4 billion, by the way. But how do they come about? They said, Cassimu, as you are passing, you stepped on me, I want 300 million. He said, it's okay. 300, but make sure 100 is mine. Now, you have debts, and when you look at the cases, even if I was not been in law school, I can stand in court and defend. But we are losing them. So first thing is that let's not lose any case. And most of these people don't see. And you leave the city as if you are not bad. The city, we provide leadership, but it's for all of us, like you are saying. Where do you, for me from here, I'm going to live in summer. I think I'll be anywhere to go. That's why my resident is including me. For us who are multi-party, you never know which other one is where. So, let's love our city. And whatever we do, once in a while, let's avoid personal achievement and focus on the community achievement. And I think that has been my drive. I believe in doing things that are for beneficial of all, for the big numbers, but not me as a person. And I tell people that there are things you can pursue. And I said there is time when I used to collect some billions. They say when I'll be on a flight accompanying over $1 billion to another country by my responsibility. So now, if you come here and you want to see, what are you going to see? Because that is the time you can change in air and you disappear. And one disappearance can feed your family for the rest of the time. You are injured at the prison, but the family is surviving. And I need to do that. So they want to do what? They want $1 million, the 500,000, they want. So time comes when you have done certain things and they no longer matter to you. And I think that has been a drive in how we've been moving this. But I want to thank all of you. Because this cannot be done by one single person. And I can assure you that out of the 100, you will not lack 2 who will say bogus. But you die, even when someone calls you stupid. Do you become stupid? Even if you say clever and you're stupid, you're really stupid. So for me, there are things I don't have to waste my time on. When you say Cassimu, you are stupid, I say it's okay. But am I stupid? No. That one I know. And to some extent, there are laws you don't fight confessionally. Fighting them confessionally, you can't win. Oh, you just borrowed it from President Museveni. He went with the 27 guns and maybe a few men. Now, if you go to a conventional fight with the city president with around 500 soldiers, can you manage? So you go to a guerrilla war, as long as you know what you are aiming at achieving. So for me, I really want to thank the teams that we worked with, the technical team. I know we've stopped the letters and for this is the time for forgiveness. At the time when we are, I think, final up, I remember when we were purchasing the grader, we were in the office of we had 2 offices. The first call was from President's Office and Corruption. And you know what had happened? They said, you see, the mayor and the town clerk have lied that they are buying a grader and yet they have misused the money. And never saw people who do that. That was very good. And maybe that is what I was now building my roots. And when the team came on the ground and went to Mantua, they formed what we have done. I remember when the office of Rex, some councillors from some of the division said, did we approve the grader? Now, the case is also coming to us to borrow a grader to go and do roads in hard-to-reach areas because our grade is much stronger. And yet at that time we were borrowing from them to do here because we didn't have. And that is why we took a decision with my town clerk that let's look for a machine which is slightly stronger. And when we talked to the team of the Ministry of Works at Center, I think through the engineers here. They said the best would be actually a cut. So we are looking, if there was any other one which would have, if they had a device that is better, would have gone for that. And everything was left to our procurement team to do. One time I was on one of the radios and somebody said, if we bought the thing at 300, finally it has come. Now someone said, it has come, what do I say? They bought the thing 300 and now they are saying they have bought over $1 billion. Now, these days, even if you pay 7K, you can go to Google and check. I buy a double company for Toyota, we go 280 million. And these are things, these are public. We procure through public procurement. Nobody brings us something and says, it is him. He only presents and says, this is this, you people, what do you want? We want this, then we need the work to happen. Then someone says, use. So, now, when you follow that, you will never perform. Some things are good, ignore it. As long as you know that you're doing the right thing. So, a number of things have been done. We agree in principle that our local revenue, however small, should do something. The same when when we have just bought our pickup for education, it was being told by people demanding this. So we made a resolution and agreed with my team that let's pay debts. Errors were committed, whatever happened, let's not pursue that, but clear the evidence that council is free. We don't have to keep hiding vehicles and assets because they are being threatened. At some point, we wanted to drop our bus park. When we reached there, they told us, you have a land title. We said, no, so you have no bus park we are developing. It's not yours. These are the things that informed us to now go and pursue security for assets of the city. And that is why you see us sitting to some level comfortably here, without anybody doing what. Now, schools, I think most of them now have gotten what people are thinking in those fields. Some of them, out of the anger, they said, Cassimu must go, which is okay. But I must go on the right thing. Because you cannot go and you want to develop Mugere Road, and then you find some 2-3 people are owning it. As of now, we are still battling to ensure that we secure that type of Mugere Road market. And these are markets that we are actually moving up and down to secure partners to have them developed. The reason why we were delaying moving people off the streets, because we thought we needed to develop these markets and then move people, taking them somewhere. But you reach there, you find a market somewhere, and I don't know, maybe the country has a problem with RCC. How does someone just come and stand on something and say, this is mine, and it becomes his? In a running government, that is really something that is not good. So there are things we've been battling behind the scenes, and sometimes we don't expose them so much because we want to finish the battles. Some of the things when you expose them, the people instead of helping, they start fighting and helping the criminals. So sometimes until we accomplish. Despite when our Lions Park was going at some fee, but I can tell you that there was a delegation from some of the divisions to the office of the RCC. You see, this man is under this year, and you know he's failing development. The development they are talking about is about auctioning and taking the Lions Park. And that is the place we want to develop for these kids. We are getting support from one bank and asking us, please do something that is recreational and make income. And you know, cities are supposed to fight stress in one way or another. So there must be entertaining areas where people go and relax. And you don't think about the home expense all the time. Now, all this come at a cost. And some people don't see. And unfortunately, sometimes they use our members of the press. And that is unfortunately. And I want to request you members of the press, once in a while, even when you hear something, make some small investigation. Don't rush to posting what you don't know. Because you rush to post someone, maybe maybe he hates someone, maybe you do this, you're rushing to post, but actually you're posting something you're not sure of. Then you find people wasting a lot of time debating that, but in actual sense, they are debating a bunch of nothing. And it's a bit hurting, because at the end of the day, we don't give value to our people. We now promote the crime guys. We call criminals for lack of a better word. So I would think that if we all put our efforts, I've heard about this, can we go and investigate further who's involved here and who's what? I saw in one of the areas, at one of the places we secured, and a team of guys came here crying that so and so is taking this property of ours and this public land. And I told that team we are going to tackle. And fortunately, one of the guys was among the contestants. But in that very area where they were crying, he had won. So I knew you can't fight corruption that way, when people are not keen in finding out what is happening. So, our friends in the press, I want to just request that even as the new team comes in, help them to grasp. Criticism is very okay. And when there are issues, share with them and tell them to do the right thing. But don't help the other guys. When we are battling with phase 2, that where our court is, what in Daula land, I saw members of the press. They were now with the same people who are making, we have spent money to secure that because the bank was taking it all. That these people have can you connect with judiciary and say something? When we wanted this court of appeal, I see they have now dismissed the people we gave. Who doesn't want a court of appeal in this area? And the essence of having it. Now, as we talk because of confusion, ask the Council Napa will tell you what it means having a court of appeal here. Then I'm told, you see, the town clerk and his team received 500,000. Now, was it from Owi Dono? Was it from the then sitting resident here in His Lordship Namugali? Was it from in whose account? Can we put even some small reasoning in some of these things? Judiciary is the one which has given me money to town clerk and his team to give that land. For sure, even if you had the smallest thinking, you definitely need to ask yourself, let it be if they say, maybe Richard here has connected with the Cassimu, it can work out, but with the judicial. And then people wrote letters, we want judicial out of that. I can tell you, who was on their knees, judicial come, and they are building now. And they have given them land. As we talk now, you heard last week, Council in Rorosat. It is telling judiciary, we have land here, please come. For you here, no, that is because why? You have not got an opportunity to sneak something out. Why don't you investigate? And actually encourage. We have our own boys here. We have Paul Gadeni, he's key. We have retired just one. These are people, why don't you just take time, share with them, and understand what is happening. How do we make it move faster? The other day we were with the easiest hotel saying, we are fast finishing good. Now story is coming, is that it seems we are not well coming. And finally, I was saying some colors on the building, the story might end there. So I'm going to say what you are not going to write. But we are chasing our way, something that, so for me, my focus is how to move. We now have so many requests for investment in this city, and we have no land. They are requesting for land. Immigration is requesting. The other time we told them, why don't we do partnership and finish this building? LDC materials is there. All the institutions are requesting. We don't have land, because initially we misuse. Now, we are only thinking about land banking, and we are only hopeful that the new team can focus actually on now starting to buy land for the city. There are so many, I think, Town Clerk Cassimu will tell you, he has a number of letters in his office, including people from overseas. Why? because we have been promoting this city and for the cities. And there was a meeting with the key funders, I think it was USA. So one of the mayors stood up when they said, we need to spend so much in your store. They said, but Rasta has so many corrupt guys, will you manage? But you're talking to funders. Some of the things corporate governance guides you to give a certain picture of your institution outside there, while making correction inside, for purposes of not failing people who are giving investments. And as we talk about analysis, this city in the next phase of Usi, or we are calling Uchimidi, whatever you want to call it, we are getting around 104 billion. And most of these projects like this, please forgive me, I'm not good at reading a very detailed here. One time I got embarrassed in Industrial Park when I made a presentation to the president. The president requested for my written speech. I had run here to start making it, because for me, the things that I know them, I don't need to write them to read them. That's why I tell you what is there. This is getting over 100 billion. This 100 billion is not the best it is getting. You are getting according to how you are rated. There are cities that are getting actually 30-something billion. I think others 24 something like that. Now, if Mumbai State is getting 100 billion for this government project, you think we are rated poorly? If we have attracted 100 billion, you think our rating in the World Bank books is poor, and you think World Bank rewards is performance-based. Now we are saying not all cities, not all the 10 cities, there may be two who are above us. Possibly they are also rated higher. But we are being rated to that magnitude because what we have done, they believe, is satisfactory. So who are you to say, what has this team not done or done what? Now just go into the books. By the time when this same hall here, you remember engineer, the late and this guy went to Ethiopia eventually, Ojuka, and others as Juka. The man Norara, we were sitting in this same hall, and the man told us, every other time we would come to Bali to visit the Usimidi projects, we go back on the road debating, do we terminate, do we do what? Because of poor supervision and performance. The last time I checked all the articles, I've never seen that emphasized by our team that initially it was bad. They only look for what is bad today. Unfortunately, you can't get it. Because our ratings have been good, and it's because of the same team here. So our people, ourselves, we may have 1, 2, 3 weaknesses, and that is really there. Nobody can be perfect by the way. It is not possible. But we have done what we think is good for this city. And that is why our work has been all up to today. We have never stopped working. That's how much we love this city. Others would have done what? When we check the vehicle we bought for the mayor, you might think it was bought yesterday. Now, suppose we had bought these vehicles here. Would we have bought another one? Is it just spending luxury? But by the time we are here, there was only a pickup for the enforcing team, and a key whatever for the engineer who he also doesn't drive it because it can't move. Now, people think that when you go and meet DC partners, you must go sweating and appear poor for people to sympathize with you. No, you will not be sit on the high table. There is that thing called branding. You must brand your city. So that by the time you reach where these teams are sitting, they start by asking who's arriving. Various mayor has arrived. That's how we're branding the city. So you cannot say we are not going. In fact, I remember in May 2022 when we met the Minister for Local Government, he emphasized he's not going to buy pickups for his mayors because he knows mayors are people who will be. And like, by the way, and you did note that LOC 5s, they are not being stopped within the boundaries of Uganda. Because the only association that brings them together is the local government association. Now, mayors, we have what we call the World Mayors Forum. So you have a number of organizations, and that's what my colleague coming in, I hope she emphasized, because our funding goes beyond the boundaries of lobbying within the bar, and I keep asking people, if you're going to lobby, for example, for World Bank funding, and the members of the press are here, can you guide me where that office is in Bali? So if every day you're on Rudo on the road, where are you going to lobby from? Because the nearest you can go to a regional office is Kampala. Beyond that is Addis Ababa. Beyond that you are talking about where? Now, if you say you see, you are now. Why can't you get these partners? On the borrow, because they say play good and say we are now funding you. It is not there. So the mayors go beyond the boundaries of the country. That means you meet different people. You meet the ambassadors of this country. And they are talking about their mayors in their country. When we were in the Cairo and we were meeting the mayor of Cairo, you would even get embarrassed. Because for you, all the leaders are there, leading you to his residence, and you find it there for those who bring all colors of what? Courtesy of the event. Then you start reflecting on home and Uganda, you don't even have coffee to serve people. So therefore, our lobbying as mayors goes beyond these boundaries. And for me, I want to encourage you guys, push our mayors to run and go and lobby. There is no single office, even when you repair that one clock, that clock tower of ours. The person who helped us repair that funding, but the funding was not from council, yeah, we must note that. And we did not make accountability. Although we have room to say, we had room to say we have spent money on repairing the clock tower. But the money came from what? Different partners. And who gave us the partner? A gentleman called Ichwanuka of Capital Outdoor Advertising. His office is where in Bali. You people know better. But for me, to the best of my knowledge, I know his office is in Kampala. And I knew him because he was bidding for us advertising events when I was at some organization working. They were working people. So it was an issue of sitting and sharing with him. And he said, no, you can get partners for you to stay at their cost, but allow them to advertise. But they should also give you some money. The other day we were sharing with the town clerk, we got partners to brand this roundabout and the other one was sleeping them. Courtesy of not just sitting there and looking for votes from year beginning to year end. And then you say, yes, we are. And you people support that. That is why people run away from service delivery to doing things of populism to make you happy laugh, but at the end of the day, the generations will suffer because they will need nothing. So for me, I want to implore, I first want to thank you that you have been good and request you that whoever comes, support them and guide them to go and lobby for this city. Lobbying is where we can achieve all this. The people who did for us that Lufula, Ababa, the last time we were there, it was in fact when the members of parliament visited, we found these maggots coming from their toilet all over the floor. And remember, we buy meat from that place. You didn't look at that place, you would not go home and buy meat again. And the people who helped us, apart from the little man we put in as council, are people we I think met in one of the forums in Senegal. And we shared these things. Now, all these things, as you go and make some small presentation, people big interest in one thing. There are teams, I think there's a team of production, a team of reality, we are out of this country, on same issues, going to lobby. So the moment you have leaders in this city who sit from Monday to Friday with you on a road, get one. Don't feel happy that yes, this is our home, we're always with him. Because even you with the kids at home daily, can kids get worried about what they're going to eat? Because daddy is here, is there, go to daddy, he's always with us here. Then the supper time, what happens? What is the supper? Having prayed the whole day. Now time for food at home. What happens? There are things we must think beyond our ordinary thinking. That the only thing you do is ask somebody, out of all these things, what have you brought? And that is a very good discussion. Then the act that as I remember when I was in Germany, someone was saying to me, please, you're there. I think it was some this consultant. Please try to look for this also. And when you're there, I found a team that had sponsored some projects in Namugali. And the people they gave the money had run away. And the team was saying to hell with that country. So we must brand our city, we must promote it, and make it likable by everybody. Everybody big interest is going to Google and see something. And that is why our interest was now to move towards issues of tourism. Say that we don't look at issues of politics and all that, but also focus on issues that can attract people. Because when these guys come, they spend some few dollars within our city. I can tell you the hotels will be busy. They don't have constraints in terms of employing our young ones, and then we shall all be at peace. So therefore, I know we have made a lot of initiatives, all of them are this report. The incoming mayor has the opportunity to consult if she wishes, but you know, advice is not mandatory that you must take. But also you don't take advice where it is not needed, because we are busy. Like I'm finishing today this, on Monday next week, I've been here for some presentation. So you cannot be here sitting waiting for somebody to come, that you please come and consult me. No. I'm also a consultant somewhere, they need me to go and guide their people. And that is how we move in this world. So for me, I just want to thank all of you that while we are doing a peaceful and lively handover, is we don't have people who are saying, I should not have. Of course we did it, but the population gave us their praise and said, you wait, let's pass these other ones. And we're there waiting. When God gives us life, we shall again be here. Say we have come, what next? Then the questions as usual will start, and depending on the expression, that will happen. But all in all, on the serious note, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank my executive, my deputy. She was our representation of business in this council. That seemed tough. And by the way, we were only with her and Magambo in opposition. Magambo is no, and being the deputy speaker, he doesn't talk in the council. So she would manage all this. You are my friends, please. Now, and there's one thing that we agreed on, including the team of security. The development for the city is priority. Our ideological things, we do them in the field. Because whether you want it or not, you must go to Honorable Magezi to sit with him and tell him what you want. The other day when we had a conflict on land down there, put it like, when the office of the president, and they gave us a team to come and correct that now. Again, where we make mistakes. Instead of the press digging further, why did we start to correct that mistake? They were saying, you see, Cassimu, on the land that was given out in 204, I don't know if I was a student who had started working. I was blamed. But they did see the correction I did, including forcing my relatives to break their lockups to allow construction to happen. But instead, the people are on what? They didn't even know there were around 3 typos there. One on another. And the one who could have not been the right one was the one saying, no development here. Now, a good press would have come and taken these 40 injunctions. Who's putting the injunctions? Then you direct your blade to the person failing development. Now, how do you direct your blade to someone who's assuring that that must happen? Can you imagine? Someone saying this must happen. It took me, my former RCC, Rex Achira, I think with the chair land, with one of the mayors, to go and sit in the office of the president. We have this project in fact is failing because somebody is failing it. And by the time we drove up to here, the decision had been made. So, which person does that with the other interests otherwise? So it's very obvious that you must know that every office matters. especially when you're in local government. You don't play games, they please play. You can make a lot of noise, but more of your salary in the parliament. But here, you curtail development for the area. So always must be constructive, must be that aims at lobbying for the city. And I think that has been our goal. And that is why I traveled with a team of security and others. That has been our focus. And I want to thank them, I want to thank the teams that were there, I want to thank our analysis. We have moved this journey. It has not come to an end. We are simply handing over an activity and touching another one. That's why I'm saying that next week, I'll be for 1 week at KICC, making a presentation for survival. That is how we're going to survive. So if you want me to make another one on revenue, call me and pay me. I will pay you per day. Those things we don't come and lament and go away. No. We pay you per day, some few dollars. And life goes on. So, thank you so much, team. My Aisha, you have been very instrumental. This lady, Secretary of Social Services, if you call her now and ask her any teacher in any school in the city, she will tell you the name and how it is in terms of performance. It is upon the new team to either see your potential or pursue politics. That one is not me to do. But otherwise, thank you so much. My mayor, Northern, we have moved. One, to congratulate you. The people of Northern saw that you have some peace. And you don't need to focus a lot on development. In the last, in this study ending, at least there was something, but I was running a lot of issues that should have done by divisions. The roads that were for divisions, we had to go and intervene, because at one time when we surrendered, you remember, I'm always flexed with Johnson here, all roads were not being worked on. And again, people don't investigate and find that out. You only crucify. That's why you crucify only the mayor, but you don't have 3 mayors in this city. Yeah, my senior mayor was supposed to choose others. But you want to make one. But we did them, and I want to thank the team. We moved within most of the areas, we moved up here, and we've done our best. I don't want to go with how many schools we worked on, all those are there. But that one is our noble duty to do. So we're not doing anybody a favor. And the team out there is also trying to be hard. Because when we don't deliver to them, you don't expect them to be happy. But remember, this city at the time of, as a municipality, it had a population of around 89 or something people. 89,000. We're not talking about the population, we're talking about using the census. We're talking about the population of 300, around 380, 370 something. So that means, in terms of service, you are stretched. We are talking about road network by day as a municipality. We are working on the road network of around 120, 125, something like that. But then the road fund was 1.2 billion. Now, as a city, where the road network is now 537 or something like that, the road fund is 380. It is only now when they have put special rehabilitation fund 1 million. So, if you get 1 million and you put it this way, what have you added? You have added a simple, for us to expect it that naturally will come with around 200 billion because it was a town council seeking some road fund. Now we would come with some money, it was a town council coming with some fund. Add-on municipality would be around 1.6 billion. Now, if government or parliament said we are now giving you 1 billion, then we expected to have 2-point-something billion. But what they did is the 1.2 billion that we are getting as a municipality was reduced to 380. And then you say you have added 1 billion. Now, when 1 billion comes out of somebody's mouth, it sounds so big. But I can assure you that money cannot maintain the roads and do bridges. You remember the rains that happened in 2022 around July 30th? It devastated close to 12 bridges in this city. Some cities were not able to connect. Now, a bridge here, according to the engineers, to do a simple bridge cannot be less than 400 billion. So 1 billion, how many bridges can be repaired? And these are things we have written, and they are things for follow-up, and that's what I want to implore our incoming team. Because most of these things are here. We want them to make sure that they make that follow-up. Otherwise, sometimes the center can also behave like using us as a shield, so that people can blame us, but they don't know that the funding that we are receiving is so minimal that we can't do anything. I'm happy that our teams will be receiving, well, going to give us some funding, and that's why we've seen the repairs of lights on Republic Street. We have enough money to do it good in Namugali and Kisuhili. We also lobbying with the Ministry of Works to take over the other bypass. You know, that road is still ours, we are the ones who maintain, and yet is supposed to pass these heavy trucks we are diverting. So that has been challenging. We pray that that happens. Like I said, we are now sure that the new phase of Kusini is coming. The design engineers have been on the ground on most of the roads that we proposed. I think they are giving us around 14.something kilometers. And we are hopeful by, as we move towards the end of this calendar year, the adverts will be running and the works will start soon on the roads. We have also proposed some sites for purposes of recreation. People can go and relax and enjoy some bit of life. If that comes in, we'll be able to. We're also thinking, like I said, in some markets. We have also proposed our last part, because the final, I think that one now, we secured the title that we did have. Again, if people have never a big fund whether we have some of these things. Even that place around the Conroy market, you think it was ours? We didn't have the title. And when you don't have, you don't have. So, a few of these things are the things we've done during this term, and I can tell you that this term, we only do 2.5 years. Because you know we are hiding inside the house. The 2 years got wasted like that. But as you have come, there's also flexibility to ensure that who is bigger than the other. That happens. Until that is also clear, then you start now focusing on development. I thank you for listening to me, and I pray that I'm told we have some coffee at Cassimu. I hope we can all be there, because I don't want us to all be there and then we take half a cup. We are assuming when we are all there, there's no eating supper at home. And we should best support the incoming team for the good of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Members, you know, sometimes